Having the messages, Breonna Taylor, Black Lives Matter on the back of their jerseys, having those conversations at home with your son, with your friend, instead of walking. I don't get the connection why the boycott leads to better policing. Am I missing something there, Lindsay? And if I am, call me an idiot.
No, you're not an idiot, but I think that you're missing a huge point. So let's just start with the fact that 2 people were killed at Black Lives Matter peaceful protests around Milwaukee, which is why the Bucks decided to take the first stance. They said we're not playing and celebrating. We're not celebrating as black people this instance when a white man just walked in and a peaceful protest and killed 2 people that were supporting black lives and nothing was done. He went to bed and had his sleep that night and got arrested the next day. Mind you, in Cleveland, Tamir Rice had a toy gun in his hand and was killed by police, murdered by police, and he was 12 years old. So that's the big difference, and that's the problem in our country, because we can continue to watch sports and say black people are good as athletes, are good as entertainers, but they're not good as human beings. So outside of those capacities, we don't respect people. And so that's why I think when you tell owners, we're taking money out of your pocket, we are taking money out of the network's pockets, and everybody who schmoozes, like Tori was saying, with local and federal officials. For example, Robert Kraft, he's very public about being good friends with President Trump. So you can directly affect legislation. And so saying that Black Lives Matter, having your league be able to wear names on their back, that's all fine and dandy. But how about going down to the people that you break bread with and have dinner with and telling them exactly what laws you need in place and affecting legislation, donating money to real causes that will save black lives? Because outside of these players playing basketball, they have friends and families that actually are in danger of being killed by police or pedestrians that are racist. And so that's a real problem that we all have to deal with. In the same way that I sit here on television and have dialogue with you guys, I have a little brother that literally had an incident very similar and luckily didn't die with the police in the last couple of months. And so as much as this is a leisure, and you said we're all lucky to be doing this, and NBA players are lucky to be millionaires and doing those things, every day they have to deal with their friends and family that are not famous, dealing with a different lifestyle and sitting in that and knowing that they could die just for doing regular life things like walking to their car or like breaking up a domestic dispute or like running around a neighborhood. I'm naming all things that happened this year where black people died for doing nothing and being unarmed. And that's not okay. When you're taking a stance, you're kneeling, you're doing everything that you can in these leagues to say you want attention and justice for black people, and that's not working. And your owners are largely silent when they have the power and authority to do much more. So don't ask why people are not playing. Don't ask why people are kneeling. Ask why owners are not doing much more.
I got to give Lindsay a credit. You know what I mean? That was well put. As a person who appreciates someone being able to articulate a point of view so it cannot be misunderstood, I appreciate her for doing it. And we need people like Lindsay, because there's too many people trying to educate people or speaking on behalf of a movement who can't articulate themselves. Sometimes you just got to step back and share videos like this, you know, because I would have just called his ass an idiot like he asked.
Peace. This is the enemy's public. I am Brother Nasir.
And this is Brother Kahree.
We just gonna go right in. Unless we engage our enemy in this war that they waged against us, it's not a war. It is called slaughter. Now, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that the only thing that he can pick to represent his work, as taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, was the trumpet. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
Brother Kahree, can you give us that teaching briefly of what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said about why he picked the trumpet as what would represent his work?
Well, a lot of it was because the trumpet had a distinctive sound. And if you notice inside of the Army and armed forces in different places, they use the trumpet as the wake-up call.
Yes, sir.
And it's not a coincidence that it is the wake-up call. And if you notice, that is also what is used to represent the final call newspaper.
Yes.
The trumpet.
Yes.
Because it is the final call.
Yes, sir.
And this is what it is that they're trying to get us to see and to understand.
Yes.
The final call, and this is where we're at. That's why the trumpet is such a significant piece for us to heed that call.
Yes, sir. For the past 8 years under the Obama administration, my sentiment is that black people were lulled back to sleep, thinking that we were living in a post-racial society. And under the Trump administration, I think Trump woke us back up to let us know that we're not living in a post-racial society, and basically what the cause of what we call our channel, the enemy's public, out in the open and chest out, overtly racist. And if you add an ET to Trump,
yes, sir. Absolutely.
you get Trumpette.
Absolutely.
So it's really synonymous to what, what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, because when Donald Trump was campaigning for the office of the President of the United States, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said something that people took out of context and they misunderstood. He said that Donald Trump is God's man.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And I tried to explain this to an older brother. He just couldn't grasp it. When I say, because they are so into the concept of what they were taught about God, the misunderstanding and misconceptions. And I was trying to merely tell him that God is going to use Donald Trump for the unraveling of America and this world as we know it.
Yes, sir.
Look at what's going on today and how much of it's going on. Starting from coronavirus and, the spearhead was like probably earlier in the year, but it really came down in March, right after Savior's Day.
Yes, sir.
And people need to understand that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is a man of God. Can explain to the listening people, our brothers and sisters, of why we can consider the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan a man of God.
Well, when you have any of these great men or women that come in the great line of divine, the way that you can tell that they are from that is if what they say comes to pass.
Yes, sir.
And Savior's Day, he said, this is the unraveling of a nation.
Yes.
Coronavirus hit. But first, let me reel it back just a little bit. Just a little bit. During this time, all monotheistic religions, major religions that we think